All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second season of AdSense on Air YouTube live stream programs. I'm your host, Jada Zaim, and today I will be talking about exciting mobile pages, AMP, and how it works with WordPress and newly released WordPress plugin, and how we can change our websites, integrating them into exciting mobile pages. So before kicking off to the topic itself, I would like to welcome you to the second season of Google AdSense on Air once again. This year we will have quarterly topics, and we will be sending out the invitations and the comms as usual to you. So please make sure to register on g.co//AdSense on Air. So we have a lot of new exciting topics coming up starting in March, such as Google Analytics and AdSense integration, Google News Lab for news publishers. So I really encourage you to visit the website and register for next coming sessions where you will have more information. And for anything regarding last season, this session, you can rewatch the whole live streams online in this link. So feel free to do so. And of course, during the presentation, if you have any questions, please go on g.co/AdSense question. And I will keep in the last 10 to 15 minutes of the hour to take any questions regarding today's session and try to answer them as best as I can. So, of course, you all know here at Google, we value your opinion. So please, we'd be very glad to hear your feedback about the quality of the presentations and topics covered. So please fill the feedback survey that we'll send you afterwards. And last but not least, don't worry about taking notes today. We'll make sure to send this presentation by email. All right, so let's kick off with the topic. So as you all know, now the user behavior online is changing from more desktop focused to more and more mobile, high-end mobile devices and mobile connections. Therefore, in a recent survey, we have asked the mobile web users, what do you dislike the most when browsing the web on your mobile device? And the majority, which is 46%, coded that waiting for slow pages to load as number one things they dislike the most when browsing the web. So building a fast and well-performing site is the number one feature product managers should focus on. Not any other additional product enhancements. Before anything else, you should really be focusing on how to make your website better on any mobile device and connection. So users today demand and reward performance. 53% of mobile site visitors leave after 3 seconds of load time. So like I said, in this mobile-first world, speed is more important than ever. And reaching and engaging with your users effectively is a necessity of all fast websites should have. So users affirm this by every day not engaging with and even giving up on slow websites. So you don't want to lose 53% of your website visitors just because your web page is taking more than 3 seconds to load. And again, we see there is 2 times more mobile ad revenue for sites that load in 5 seconds versus it may take a longer while, say 19 seconds or something. And last but not least, despite over half of the users abandoning slow sites, over 75% of mobile sites still take more than 10 seconds to load on a 3G connection. So we may be right now in an LTE world, 4G world, but there is still a lot of connections that is slower speed. So you always want to make sure to optimize your website to some users that have the slowest internet connection. So what is the current state of web performance today? Let's take a look at the ecosystem average for performance. So if you look at the left, it represents the first contentful paint, the time taken for users to see the first visible content, be in the content title, paragraph, images, etc. And to the right, it represents the onload page. So it means the time taken for the whole page to load. Here we can see majority of websites are not loading fast enough to meet the user's need. Comparing WordPress sites versus other websites, there are a higher percentage of sites that are slow, suboptimal than the rest of the ecosystem. So in my personal experience, I've worked with more than 300-400 web publishers in the last year. And even though publishers are very well aware that the speed is critical for their site's success and sustainability, in reality, hard tuning a website is not a luxury that just a few can afford. So you may say, yeah, I have a really responsive website. It is great, mobile friendly. You run all the analysis that Google offers you, such as the web dev, Lighthouse tools, the mobile page speed insight, Test My Site. But you always want to make sure that your web page is loading faster and fast enough. So this is the why the AMP project was started. And the AMP project is introduced as an open source initiative to enable a better web with sites that are fast, beautiful, and can be monetized even better. So with AMP project, we help the publishers to create a fast web experience that are straightforward to create and to manage. With this open source initiative, we aim to build a better web ecosystem for both users, publishers, and advertisers themselves. So what AMP provides for publishers and websites? By publishing in the AMP format, your pages will be fast with a smooth user experience, all while retaining your ability to style the page and retain your brand look and feel. And by building AMP versions of your site, your user experience will be much better, and your websites will provide near instantaneous loading, smooth scrolling and engagement, and you have all the flexibility to style your web page the way you want them to look. And of course, additionally, AMP pages have multiple distribution channels across multiple consumer platforms, including Bing, Google, Twitter, LinkedIn, Medium, Pinterest, and many more. These platforms link to AMP to provide greater opportunities for distribution. And like said, AMP pages support the layout of your existing pages and support design flexibility to incorporate your brand look. And it also provides functional elements like video, galleries, and forms, even quizzes and everything. So an AMP page is not something that is very plain, just black, white with a couple of images, but it really has a wide variety of different functionalities that meets your demands and your criteria and your users' needs. So moving forward, right now, today, tens of millions of domains on the web have adopted AMP, producing millions of accelerated mobile pages. According to a recent Forrester study commissioned by Google, users spent 2 times more time on an AMP page than a non-AMP equivalent. And sites also saw a 10% year-over-year increase in traffic to their AMP pages. And if you look at the other side, for such as e-commerce websites, the benefits were even more noticeable. When we did an A/B testing by 2 e-commerce websites and interviewed for a study demonstrated with 20% increase in the conversion rate on their AMP pages. Since it's faster, users are more engaged with the website and they don't leave when they see either the images being all collapsed and everything. So for the full results of the study, you can search online total economic impact of AMP on Google, and you'll find a whole complete study. We are also going to send over the slides so you can see the link to the source later. So here are some well-known names in the industry who have tried AMP and saw an uplift in their respective key KPIs. For example, Gizmodo and Mail.ru are able to produce new traffic post-AMP implementation. Terra and Time are able to improve time spent by users on their website. The Washington Post are able to improve their user retention with 23% higher 7-day returning users. Last but not least, Teats sees a better monetization with 200% increase in the average CTR on AMP pages, which is great for video content. So here's I'd like to share a small success story from Bacateros.com, a lifestyle publisher who built their site with WordPress. And within 2 days, less than 2 days even, the CEO has managed to implement AMP with a WordPress plugin, which I will be mentioning to you in a minute. And by this plugin, the website is now 64% faster, and in turns yield a better user engagement with the website, his site, and the ads themselves. Therefore, the ad CTR is also increased by 47% and CPMs by 25%, which is much, much, much better than any mobile web optimized website. Great. So this is the latest little introduction to AMP and why it is so important, and how it makes the internet better for mobile web users. So if we continue to WordPress, most of our publishers right now are using WordPress because it is very easy to build web pages. You can start, you don't need any in-depth technical knowledge, and it looks beautiful. Even the most advanced websites you may know, they are based on WordPress. So if you're on WordPress, that is great because we have a plugin that is very easy for you to convert all of your content that is right now on your site with a couple of clicks and a couple of minutes to AMP. So in Google, we are passionate about making the websites faster and accessible to everyone. Therefore, we have collaborated with different industry names in the WordPress ecosystem to build the AMP official plugin. So if you can just go to wordpress.org and support, if you search AMP, there you will see the AMP WordPress plugin. Moving forward, for example, if you would like to see live websites that are using AMP official plugin based on WordPress, you can head over to amp-wp.org/showcases. And as you can see here, you don't have to compromise, and you can build a website that loads fast and beautiful. Therefore, you can take a look and see for yourselves. And there are also a lot of different compatible plugins and themes. The AMP official plugin is not a turnkey solution, but instead it is built with the aim to provide lots of support for developers, be it amplify their web pages or baseline for WordPress developers building AMP-compatible themes plugins. And we are currently working with the ecosystem to grow the number of plugins and themes available to be compatible and work seamlessly with the AMP official plugin. And of course, the WordPress and AMP plugin is an ongoing journey that has been over a couple of months and even years. It was not always perfect. We heard your feedback with a lot of trials and errors. The latest version of the plugin is now functioning much better. And so right now I would like to show you a couple of different modes that AMP plugin offers. So right now it operates in 3 different modes, which is classic mode, paired mode, and AMP native. So prior to the version 0.5, we started with the legacy mode, which we no longer recommend. Even though the setup is easy, the mode does not allow you to use the same themes as your non-AMP website. That leads to the presence of your visual gaps. So if your theme is AMP compatible, that is great. You can go ahead and use the classic mode, paired mode, or the native mode. So instead, in version 0.6, we introduced the pair mode, which is much more powerful because we are now able to mitigate and remove the visual gaps between the AMP and non-AMP pages. And in the latest version, which is version 1, you can have your whole website in AMP if you want with the new native mode. And with the new native mode, also when users access your website on a desktop device, it will still be an AMP on desktop, but you don't compromise from the functionality and the look and feel of your website itself. So how to get to classic mode? So I would first like to demonstrate and run you through the steps of installing the AMP plugin. So let's say you have limited time and bandwidth that you're currently unable to convert all of your JavaScripts to AMP components and make your website AMP compatible. Therefore, with little as 2 minutes, you can get started with AMP and start with the classic mode, where our plugin would do whatever it needs to make your website AMP compatible. All you have to do is go to your WordPress dashboard, click on plugins and add new, and on the search bar, just search for AMP. Once you find the official plugin with Google as one of the contributors, you can click on install now, activate, and voila, that's it. You are now enrolled in the classic mode and have AMP version of your website. And after that, but of course, we always recommend you to upgrade to the native or paired mode to offer the best UI and UX for your users. So first, click on the AMP tab after installing the plugin and converting your web pages to AMP. And in general, you will see the toggle to your preferred mode. So you can either click native or paired or leave it as classic and then save changes. So in a couple of minutes, your web page will be all AMP based for your preferred content. So native paired modes. So how are you going to validate your URLs? There's an easy way to spot if there is a source of error. And native paired modes may require troubleshooting and validations, but also the plugin is here to support you with that. The plugin have an inbuilt compatibility tool that helps you spot errors. From affected URLs, the source of error, for example, which theme or which plugin is not working, to the type of error, be it the JavaScript error or content, HTML, CSS, anything. So the goal here is to minimize your effort in troubleshooting and help you build an AMP-compatible website. And of course, additionally, in the version 1, the plugins are giving more granular option for the users and control to decide what you want to do. For example, if you add a JavaScript that fancy animation on users' cursors on your website, you have limited bandwidth and you know how your website can work perfectly without this JavaScript functionality, you're okay with removing it. You can choose to accept this validation error without removing the JavaScript. The plugin would sanitize the JavaScript on the page, making the web page to be AMP valid, but without affected JavaScript functionality. The website would be AMP compatible without the error, and all you have to do is with the error becoming AMP compatible. And moving forward, you can also reject an error. If you reject an error, that AMP version for the page won't be existing, and users will automatically be directed to the non-AMP version of that page. So if you have an error notification, you can, when you're editing a post or page with an AMP validation error, the plugin would also show a notification, which would bring you to the validated URLs tab that you can take another look at it. And similarly, when you're visiting your web page with the AMP validation error, it will give you a notification about which URL can be affected by this. You can also review error types, amend decisions. Therefore, we have the error index. While validated URLs tab shows you the error of each URL, the error index shows the world in perspective of the error across all your sites and pages. So as many of you are using Google Analytics as well to track your website, traffic sources, your page views, users, and bounce rate, there's also a great way that you can add your Google Analytics to your AMP pages. So in the Analytics tab, if you go under if you look at under the general in your AMP plugin, you can add analytics tracking to your pages. AMP supports over 50%, over more than 50 analytics vendor, and it's getting more general in the more popular. So you can see the full list at ampproject.org. So for today's demo, I will use an example from Google Analytics. And all you need to do is click the adding analytics to your AMP pages, the red rectangle, and then copy and paste the segment of the sample code highlighted here in the box, and substitute GA tracking ID with your relevant Google Analytics ID, which usually starts with EU, for example, 0002. And then paste it on the plugin. Label the type to Google Analytics to ease of future reference. Click Save. And that's it. Google Analytics now would start tracking your AMP pages. Yeah, so that is the basics of AMP and WordPress plugin. And we have, of course, many different sources to get you started. For example, for AMP, all in one hub, you can take a look at ampproject.org. And all in one hub for AMP official plugin product website is ampwp.org. If you have general AMP queries, you can get support from the AMP project link. And for any AMP official WordPress plugin questions, you can again get support following the link. So this is the founding principle at Google, focusing on the user. If we focus on the user, everything else will follow. AMP's focus is the user that we are working for users, publishers, and advertisers. So the whole internet ecosystem itself, that one cannot exist without another, as we all know. So great, you have your AMP pages set up, and then now with the WordPress plugin, everything is much easier. And now let's talk about how are you going to monetize your AMP site. So in the same way that AMP supports design flexibility, AMP supports also many different types of ads. For example, the banner ads that we know of, just display banners, and then comes sticky ads at the bottom of the web page that when users scroll through your site, the ad just sticks. And then more interactive ad styles like flying carpet. And then promoted content, it's just like the match content on Google AdSense that you know of. And then we also have video ads. And now this is especially for Google AdSense users. Couple of tips how to make the best out of your AMP page and your monetization. We definitely recommend that you create different additional ad units for AMP. So you can track the performance for AMP ad units and mobile web ad units separately to see how how it performs for you. Since AMP is very fast and much lighter in loading, the publishers experience a high level of active view viewability. Therefore, it's best if you separate your mobile web and AMP ad inventory to track your click-through rates, your RPMs, and your viewability metrics. Tip number 2 is optimizing the ad viewability as mentioned. So sample placements would be just as you monetize your mobile web, you can monetize your AMP the same way. Add one ad unit in the first fold. It may be after a couple of paragraphs or in the middle of the page. And give approximately 2 to 3 viewports of content separation for the subsequent ads. So when a user scrolls through, then the second ad should be there. And like said, optimize the active view viewable for each ad placement, and always for mobile, aim for more than 40, even better, 50% viewability. So maybe many of you have seen this graph before. We always use it for mobile web optimization, AMP optimization, the recommended ad placements. So like said, the better and the best versions of ad placements would be you have the title and the content and some ad in the first fold, but not too much. So when users come to your web page, they are not overwhelmed by ads and they can see a clear content where there's also an ad as they scroll down. So our recommended ad size for AdSense will be 300 by 250 or 336 by 280, the bigger ad units. Or if you would like to create a mixture, 320 by 50 or 320 by 100 also works wonders. Yeah, so recommended ad formats would be a banner, and you would like to avoid heavy creatives and check IIB standards. There's always the go-to guidelines for any kind of ad optimization. And you can also check AMP versus canonical ad units to see how they perform. So this is my presentation for today, and thank you very much for tuning in. I hope it was helpful to you. And now we will move on for some questions. Just 1 second. Great. All right. So we have a couple of questions. Thank you so much for tuning in. And now we are moving on to the Q&A part. And the first question is from Tim. Tim says that I'm new to AdSense on Air. Where can I see previous videos? Like mentioned in the very first slide, if I can go back. The Google AdSense, the g.co/AdSense on Air. Here you can see all of our previous videos that are recorded, and just go through the links and find the YouTube links. That way you can watch all of our previous airings. That we had a lot of auto ads, accelerated mobile pages, mobile web optimizations, policy related, Google Ad Manager, like DFP first steps. So feel free to do so. So moving on to the second question, that is from Jerry. Which ad units are the best performing ads in terms of monetization? So this really depends on your website and ad strategy. If you're talking about mobile, like said, 300 to 250 or 320 by 100 are really good for the mobile viewability and monetization. Whereas if we talk about desktop, bigger ad formats such as 300 by 600, billboard or skyscraper, they are working better. Therefore, it is again up to you to try out a couple of different ad formats, ad units, and dimensions to see what works best for your website and for your users. And then there's another question from Sandy, and she asks, what does AMP stand for? So AMP stands for Accelerated Mobile Pages. And for more, you can just Google AMP, Accelerated Mobile Pages, and you will see much more in-depth explanation of what even Accelerated Mobile Page stands for. Yeah, so that's it for the questions. Thank you so much, Jim, Jerry, and Sandy for giving our first questions for the second season. I hope you all enjoyed the today's session, and we will be sending you the feedback survey tomorrow. Please give us your feedback, give us your thoughts on it, and then we will be circulating the deck later on via email. And if any questions, just go on to g.co AdSense question to provide more feedback with us. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a great evening. Bye-bye.